Hi, I'm Rob Terrio, and this is a PowerPoint tech tip. One of the questions I often get asked by staff is how do I convert my PowerPoint slides into note pages that I can share with my students on a learning management system? So you can do that in PowerPoint. It's really easy to do, and I'm going to show you how. And I convert them into PDF files. I convert them into PDF because they're small files and they're compatible with a learning management system. You can convert them straight into Word, but and save them as a Word document, but they tend to be large files, and I'll explain why in a second. So in PowerPoint, you've got your slide presentation. You go to File on the left-hand side here. So I'm working with PowerPoint 2010. This will work with older version as well. And you go to Save and Send. And then just to the right of there on the bottom, you'll see an icon that says Create Handouts. Click on that. And then over here, it'll say Click on Handouts. Click on that again. And then we get some options. So the first option it defaults to is notes next to slides. Now, if you create slides and notes below it, it'll put those notes next to the slides. That's one option. I prefer this option here, the next one down, which is blank lines next to slides. So what it does is it converts your slides into JPEG images. And when you do this, convert this into Word, which is where we're going to start first. Those JPEG images are fairly large files, and that creates a large file Word document, and that's why I converted it into PDF shortly thereafter, and I'll explain what I mean. Other options include notes below the slides, or blank lines below slides, or outline only. And you can choose any one of those. It's personal preference. And at the bottom it says Add slides to Microsoft Word document, paste, or paste links. So you could either link from your slideshow into Word, or you can paste. I just leave it at paste, and we'll hit OK. And so what it's doing now is it's opening up a Word document in the background, which I'm going to bring up, and you'll see this converting all of these slides into JPEG images. So small JPEG images, and it'll go through the whole slide presentation. I think there are about 30 some odd slides on this one, so it'll take a bit of a second. And as I say, if you've saved it as this Word document, it would be a large file. So I convert it to PDF, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. You can also see here that the um, um, lines are in the margin to the right there. Okay, so it's finished doing that. Now, the images that you're seeing of these slides are pretty small and difficult for your students to read. And I used to save them just the way they are right now, and my students complained that they couldn't read the slides. So what I do is I reformat. Now this takes a couple of minutes, but it's worth doing. So, and if your slides are the same for 2-3 years or so, then you shouldn't have to do this exercise again. So what I do, these are tables basically, and you just click and drag over to the left margin like that. And then I take this next line and I click and drag it next to the 1, and then I count back 4 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I do that because when you get to slide 10, you want the word slide and the number 10 on the same line. If you don't have enough space there, then 10 goes on the next slide, and that just looks poorly formatted. Now the next thing I do is I click on the image and I drag it down towards the next corner to about 1 millimeter away from the edge. So I grab, it's the corner spot that I want to grab, and I drag it to about 1 millimeter from the edge, and that makes it large enough for the students to read when they print it off and want to take notes in the classroom. So I'm going to do this for all the slides, and it takes a little while, so I'm going to pause the recording here until we get to the end. All right, so I've come to the end, and you notice my last slide just says questions with a question mark. This is obviously at the end of the talk when I take up questions with my students, and you don't need this for the handout, so I just highlight this entire um, column here, or not column but row, and go to layout at the top, and then I go to delete, and then delete rows, and so I get rid of that. Now I can scroll back up to the top. So this is a Word document, and as I say, I can save it like this, but it's too large a file, I find, to put in an LMS. So I'm going to go to File again, and first of all I'm going to get the name of the slide presentation that I want here. And just copy that so I have a name for it. I do Control C to get hold of that. And then I'm back here. I go to File, I go to Save As, and then I put it in the appropriate file folder. And I'm going to give it that name with Control V. And it's now under Save as Type, you'll see Word Document, DOCX. You're going to click on that and you're going to scroll down to PDF. So now it's going to save as a PDF. And I usually save it as a standard publishing online. This will save at a file size that's less than a megabyte. Minimum size gets a little pixelated and it's difficult to read. So I just leave the default standard format and I click Save, and voila, it's all done. Wheels spinning. I'm done here. Now I can go to that particular file folder, and under BB, I find it here as flow of a call. Double click on it just to have a look at it if you want to. And there it is. Now it's good to move into your learning management system.